What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a Korean film, a spoiler-free review of a new Shudder original that just hit their streaming service about 5 days ago called Metamorphosis. So let's dive into it. Now, technically, Metamorphosis came out in 2019. It's a Korean film that probably hit the festival circuit, and Shudder picked it up as one of their originals and put it up on their streaming service just recently. But Metamorphosis is a movie directed by Hong-seon Kim, where a family is infected by a demonic entity of some sort, or maybe even Satan himself, and preys on this family, making them attack one another. This movie, in my opinion, takes a lot of cues from other great films like the Amityville horror franchise, or The Exorcist was one of the bigger ones, I'd say. And I don't just mean story elements, I mean even shots that they did in this film, because it looks pretty good. The story does take a little while to kind of transpire, but it does a really good job of making you enjoy the family and look at them from a positive light, which is really important if you're going to make all of these characters switch on a dime and start attacking one another verbally, physically, everything. I think it's really important that you make sure that these characters are likable. I didn't think they did a bad job here. In fact, I love the switching that they had between the characters. You were never really sure who was who, and it really added to some of the tension and suspense in this movie. A lot of scenes where the families act out and get pretty crazy, and those scenes are really kind of cool to me. The reactions from the other family members were actually pretty genuine, and the way they reacted seemed authentic. It felt real, which I thought was a definite plus for this movie. Pretty creepy set design and things that they did with it, although this movie tends to play it a little bit more straight and realistic rather than putting up the style and kind of flaring it up to make it look pretty. It wanted to stay based in reality for the most part, which could be a hindrance a little bit to some people. I don't think it would have been wrong to add just a little bit more style to some of these scenes. One part in the very beginning I loved in the set design where they go over to a neighbor's house is amazing. I thought it was a really good scene and done very well, although you're wondering, why are you doing this? Some of the sound design that they did for this movie was done really well too. It had a really good vibe, although I felt like it needed a little bit more in certain elements to kind of make that vibe pop during some of these most intense moments. Plus, the movie does tend to reveal a little too much to kind of show its wit and throw a couple of tricks up its sleeves at you to kind of make you interested in what's going to happen. Although these tricks aren't exactly the best, sometimes revealing a little too much, I think, too early kind of takes away from the film. It kind of blows your load a little too early. And it kind of does that a little bit here. Really, the most interesting part is the family shifting between good and bad and evil, whatever you want to call it, while this demonic entity is taking over. That's actually some of the best things about this movie, is those moments. It's not a shy movie when it comes to the horror, but it does take a little while to get there. So I'm sure you're going to have some regular complaints about, being too slow or whatever. But, everybody has an atmosphere that they try to create on their own. To me, it's very hard to nail that kind of atmosphere with a large set and a large group of people and a large, cast. So I can understand where having that balance is a little difficult. Although I do wish that the movie would have kind of gone a little bit darker and been a little bit more, just dark. It's not cute or stupid or dumb or anything like that. It's actually done very straight, not quirky or anything like that. Like I said, it does try to pull some cues from some of the greats. But the end was quite a letdown. In fact, the entire third act really kind of gets under your skin a little bit. There was one small surprise, but I kind of saw it coming a little bit, and maybe you will too. I felt like the third act, also the last half of it, dragged for way longer than it needed to be. It's almost a 2-hour film. It's like an hour and 51 minutes, and honestly, I think they could have trimmed down that last act significantly. Ultimately, Metamorphosis is a decent film that I really wish could have been pushed into the good or great, because the first two acts really had me hooked. And I really liked the family dynamics. The acting was on point. The sound was pretty decent. Some of the set design was really cool. I feel like the story needed a little bit more elements to it to kind of help make this movie sort of pop. And unfortunately, by the end, it really kind of falls apart. So for me, I'd have to give this a 7 out of 10. Some may like it a little bit more. Some might like it a little bit less. But ultimately, I think 7 is a fair score for this movie. It really did show a lot of promise. There are a lot of things that I do like about it. It deserves some credit. Moving forward, I would like to see more horror from this person, see what they could do. It's not your typical sort of Korean horror film that you would expect. It kind of follows a more American tropic kind of feel than you would normally get from Korea. So if that makes sense to you guys. What did you guys think? Did you enjoy the movie? Did you love the movie? Did you hate the movie? I think it's definitely above average. It just failed in some aspects. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for spending your time here with me. And if this is your first time here, please hit the like and subscribe button and let me know how you feel in the comment section down below. All of those things really help me out. But as always, long live the void.